Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Bat Community Call for Tuesday, May 28th, 2024. We're doing this call from Austin, Texas this week for consensus. A bunch of us are here. A bunch of us are in other places too. Battern and Guillermo are in Lisbon at BeamCon, and I think you got some interesting stuff going from there that I'm sure they'll share. Lots of stuff going on. Yeah, a couple of. Actually, where am I going to start today? I think I'll start with some updates on some stuff we launched last week. From my end, we had a pilot that we launched on Friday. I've been speaking with the guys at Zcash Media. They actually hit me up recently. I think that they saw some of the meme coin stuff that we were doing and putting the stats out about. And so they commented or something like that in response to one of the posts that I'd made, and it ended up going to DM, and I'm like, look, like we were thinking about, like, we wanted to start doing stuff or when see how the transactions run out, but let's have a conversation. So we talked, and they're like, yeah, we have some stuff coming out this summer, a couple of different, pieces of content that we've been putting a lot of time into working on about privacy and new formats and things like that. And I was like, great. I was like, you guys put anything else out? And he said, yeah, they did a really great documentary as Zuko and I think Edward Snowden was in it as well back in 2022. They released it had been out for a while, but it was really like high quality. And I was like, look, like let's launch a pilot and show people what we can do here from the ad platform, driving people to the video, because one, it's like it's a good documentary, like to start and get a baseline going, but two, it's helping to kind of check both boxes where we're informing people about not just like privacy, but also around privacy and crypto. And so, yeah, we launched that on Friday. That's one pilot that we kicked off. I'm pretty excited about. The other one that I couldn't mention last week that happened between then and now, we've been working on this for like almost 2 months, I think. As we added BONK to the meme coin pilot lineup for Brave Ads and Bat. And so we launched the first phase of the campaign with them last week. And it had kind of been a moving target. We were talking about doing a couple different types of things with them initially. And then finally they're like, we're just about to launch this BONK mark thing that we'd like to get some additional eyes on. I was like, cool. It's a really neat use case too. I think they collaborated with TipLink on it, to where it's just basically like an e-greeting card where be for any occasion or event, and you can basically send somebody like this greeting card and like load it with BONK. And because they're using TipLink, you could even you didn't have to have a wallet or anything either. Like TipLink will basically like configure one with your Gmail account if you want. So as simple as that, right? Like and so we launched a campaign for that. The first phase will be kind of seeing how that stuff performs and get some eyeballs on things, and super excited about that. It's kind of interesting to look back. What started as just a, hey, I wonder if this will do anything test with Mautai has kind of turned into like a 5 meme coin lineup, and we're seeing those projects doing some pretty interesting things too. Just today we saw 2 things. The home project, Beeple had released a piece of artwork that had a bunch of meme coins highlighted, and home was one of those, which was kind of cool to see. And then on the other side of things too, Mautai basically did a fundraising effort when there was the earthquake in Taiwan. I think it was last month, but it was pretty devastating earthquake. And there's a bunch of people from the Mautai community that are in Taiwan that actually got video footage of some of the destruction. And they were able to raise like $26,000 from the community and they're donating that out to 2 different causes there. But I think like it's pretty neat too to see that kind of happening as well. So yeah, there's a couple of things there on that front. It's cool to see one of the things when we're looking at projects to work with on these types of pilots, or how are they standing out, from the pack. And I think if you look at how like BONK and Mautai and even Hum for that matter are kind of like making these inroads, it's kind of interesting to see. And then also we launched phase 2 for when they actually introduced like a liquid staking token that is using their validators basically. So we're putting some focus on that, and they're working on additional NFT standard too for Solana, which is pretty interesting. So I think starting to see all these different things happening, and launched another phase for Toshi too as well. So I think pretty interesting stuff going on here, like with these pilots, and what we're seeing, the platform kind of powered by BAT driving a lot of these interesting things, and getting them out in front of more people. So those are a whole lot of word salad updates for me. I think I'm now ready to turn it over to Jenny, if you want to kick us off with what the latest is from the community team.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. So this week we're going to start off, actually, hang on a second. Let me get on the right tab. There we go. This weekend we're going to start off with talking about some events, because this is a big week for events in crypto. It's Consensus Week. And we've talked about this a little bit over the past couple of weeks, but for anyone who doesn't know, Consensus, it's probably one of the biggest and most influential crypto events in the world. And it's happening this week in Austin, Texas. It starts tomorrow, goes till June 1st. And while Brave is not directly sponsoring Consensus this year, we do still have a number of things going on that I'm going to tell you about. So let's get into it. All right. So first thing, Brave is hosting a Stand for Privacy happy hour. We're co-hosting with our partners Zcash and Filecoin. And that is happening on May 30th from 5 to 7 p.m. Central. It is an RSVP'd event. So if you will be at Consensus, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Luke, Drew, Sherelle from the team. There will be lots of Brave team members in attendance, in addition to some partners and collaborators. But yeah, if you are going to be on the ground, let us know. If you'd like to attend, we can get you into the happy hour. So that'll be really fun. And then coming up after that, same night, is the Karate Combat KC46 event, which, of course, Brave is an official arena sponsor for, so we're very excited. Again, we're going to be sending lots of our team to that event, including Crypto Dojo from BAT Ambassadors, who's going to be on the ground doing interviews, making content, doing live streams, talking about BAT and Brave, distributing merch. Yeah, we're probably going to be promoting his live streams through our community channels, so that those of us who are stuck at home can follow along with Crypto Dojo and see how the Brave Happy Hour is going, and then witness him live at the KC46 event. So we're really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I don't know if people saw Joe Rogan on his podcast today, was talking about Karate Combat, had a bunch of video on, including a bunch of like snaps that had Brave in it. But I guess he's going to be at the event on Thursday too.
Oh my God, amazing. I did not see that. That's so cool.
Yeah. I think it was just basically, I just saw it on Twitter. I think Sherelle brought it to my attention. Many thanks, Sherelle.
Actually, that's a lie. I think I did just skim it and see it, but I didn't look at it fully. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Was that Sherelle?
Yeah, no, I was just saying, sorry, I'm driving. No, I was just saying, yeah, I saw it. I think Drew had retweeted it, and I saw it. I was like, oh, this seems like it's a big deal, and Brave is all over that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we'd love to see it.
Amazing. Yeah, we definitely love to see that. That's great. Oh, also forgot to mention that Bows, who's here today, hey Bows, Bows will also be at the KC46 event and probably the Brave Happy Hour. So yeah, I'm really excited that we're going to have so many team members and community members coming together for Consensus. So very exciting stuff. Next slide. We also have, and this is mainly for folks on the ground, and it's unclear at this moment whether either of these next two presentations that I will tell you about will be recorded and made available later. But, you know, if you will be at Consensus, you're in town for the conference, do try to attend in person. And, you know, if you can't and we can get the recordings, we will definitely make sure to share those. But Brendan Ike, of course, everyone knows, Bat and Brave CEO, is going to be doing two talks, both on May 31st. One called From Crypto to Main Street. That's a panel with some folks from Helium, Phantom, and Helio. And then later in the day, he's going to do a talk. I think this one's just him, why AI is not the end of privacy. So yeah, again, if you're around, try to check that out. If not, we'll try to get recordings for you or clips. But yes, so that's what's happening with Bat Brave at Consensus. All right, let's move on now to some community highlights. Okay, so last Friday on the 24th, we had our first ever X Space on the primary attention token Twitter account. Historically, we've done these from the Bat community account, and we co-hosted this one with Unfungible. We talked about this last week, but they're basically a company that helps, you know, boost attendance and awareness for Web3 spaces for various, you know, projects across the Web3 space. So yeah, we did our first panel with them last week, and it was me, Luke, Drew, Batten, Guillaume, Paula, and Godson, and it focused, the conversation focused solely on Bat. We covered a ton, and we didn't even cover the half of what we had wanted to talk about. So we will probably be doing a part 2 very soon, but in the meantime, you can go back and listen to that recording. It's available on Attention Token Twitter. You can also find it on Bat Community Twitter. We've retweeted it, pinned it. But the reason we're collaborating with Unfungible, anyway, I won't get into it too much. We talked about it last week. You can go back and watch last week's community call, but you know, we're trying to get Bat and Brave, but especially Bat in front of, you know, a wider audience. And so for this first space with them, we ended up having 266 total listeners, which is more than 8 times our average from past spaces. And we've been doing spaces almost weekly for the last 2 years on the community account. So yeah, this is just the first, and I think we'll be able to get the listener count and the participation count up even higher because as we explained last week, we're also running a Brave Ads campaign with Unfungible to not only promote our spaces with them, but other client spaces of theirs. So as those ads, you know, continue to run, we'll probably see more people tuning in. And the way that Unfungible works is they bring in guests from other projects too. And so you get their audiences and their communities coming in. And so this week, May 31st at 1 p.m., we have a panel titled What Web3 Adoption Will Truly Look Like. So that's going to be more of a general discussion. Of course, there will be tie-ins to Bat and Brave, and that'll be with me, Battern, Godson, and Easy.io and more, which are both Web3 marketplaces. And then the week after that, we have another panel titled Web3 is More Than Tech. So check them out and let us know how you're enjoying them. This is a 6-week sort of experiment, pilot experiment that we're doing with Unfungible. And if we see success from it, then we may continue. So yeah, your feedback is always welcome and valuable.
They did great. They did a pretty good job. Like the intro music was cool too.
Oh yeah, the intro and outro music was great. The host, Keleno, such a professional. He's such a close listener. I find, you know, we've been hosting our own spaces for, like I said, about 2 years. And I find it really hard to be, you know, both following your agenda that you've planned and also really being in the discussion and really like deeply paying attention. But Keleno is an absolute professional, and he was asking incredible questions, you know, both questions that we had planned for, and then other ones that he just came up with on the fly based on the direction of the conversation. And I think it was an interesting space, but definitely check it out and let us know what you think. But yeah, Unfungible team has been great to work with so far. All right. And then also last week, in the realm of spaces, Crypto Dojo, again, Scott from our ambassadors program hosted a space on his Twitter with Bat Earn all about Brave and Bat. So I thought that was awesome, and I wanted to shout it out. Love to see our ambassadors take initiative and do spaces and make videos and content, and it's really great to see. I didn't even know this was happening until the day of. So hats off to you, Crypto Dojo. Don't think he's here today, but when he sees this, great job. And then this is just a quick video that I wanted to share with you all in case you haven't seen it. Linus Tech Tips, he's a huge creator on YouTube. He has 15.6 million subscribers. He was at one point a verified Brave creator, if I recall correctly. Looks like he may no longer be verified, but that just could be, you know, like he needs to update his, he needs to like link a wallet or a custodian account to his profile or something. But anyway, he made this great video on how to de-Google your life, which is full of really helpful tips. But most importantly, he mentions Brave starting at 2:15, and he talks about Brave and benefits of using Brave for about 45 seconds. And so this video is really hot and trending right now on YouTube and on social media. If you all want to help us out, go get into those comments about Brave, upvote comments about Brave. Yeah, just share it. You know, this is the kind of thing that we love to see. And if Belladone doesn't beat me to it, I can't see the chat right now, but if Belladone doesn't beat me to it, I'm going to put the link to the video in the chat so you all can check it out.
Raid the video.
Yes, raid the video. A bunch of us did last week, but if you haven't, go do that. Okay, I'll put the video in the chat, and then I'm going to hand it off to
Google just
Sorry,
handout.
I didn't mean to press play. Hang on.
It is me. And I want to mention just straight away that Linus Tech Tips not only mentions the browser, but also the Brave search engine. He wanted to compare because he was like talking about the situation with DuckDuckGo and all of the other ones when Bing went down. He also mentions Akazi and others. But the main thing was that Brave has his own search index, and that's what he wanted to highlight, which I thought was pretty cool.
Love it.
Love it.
Next thing is I don't believe that Jenny did not even mention Non-Fungible Conference that me and Adam are attending this week. So
well, is it MemeCon or is it Unfungible? What is this thing called? You can't
basically
even...
we have like the main thing that is called NFC, the Non-Fungible Conference, and within NFC you have like many stages. So like when you go to the festival, you have like the main stage and like the two other stages. It's basically the same thing. And one of those stages or one of those areas is the MemeCon one.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so like this one is actually pretty big. I didn't know it was as big as it is when I was going through the panelists. It has Beeple, it has PAC, it has OCF, it has Randy Zuckerberg and Invisible Friends. I'm just scrolling through and seeing MFers, and they are sponsored by Ledger, Sandbox, ApeCoin, LG, Ubisoft, POAP, and many others. Honestly, much bigger than I initially thought it was.
Well, isn't Beeple there too? Like,
yeah, it was here today.
Yeah. Because like he put Hum was on his the artwork that he put up. They were going nuts about it.
I did not attend today, however, Battern was there, and I'm pretty sure he'll cover a little bit more in depth and will give his own insight because he was also a panelist today, and I'm probably very excited to hear what he has to say about that.
I am excited to hear about it too. Very
exactly.
So
both of us
as well.
Oh yeah, both of us are going to be dressed as lions on the ground tomorrow, doing some gonzo journalism, and just networking overall. Like I'm excited about it. It'll be a lot of pictures.
That's awesome.
All right, so next we have Echo X Shrapnel. This is just, I wanted to announce and just showcase here firsthand what the NFT is going to look like. That's not actual skin, by the way, that's the placeholder. Since we don't have the skin, we're just waiting on that. And once we have the actual skin in game, I can place it there and it will be our skin versus the one that is there that is from another project called Empty. So that's it from my end. Thank you all, friends. No worries, Jenny, no worries.
Need pictures of this lion outfit you guys are wearing. Like,
oh, there'll be plenty of them.
Hi everyone. I hope that you're having a lovely day. Can you hear me? I'm on my phone today.
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So last Tuesday, I did my presentation at the National University in Heredia, Costa Rica. I talked a little bit about this a couple of weeks ago, but the main focus of this presentation was to basically introduce new tools and like new alternatives to the resources we already use. But well, clearly those things are giving us more limitations instead of benefits. And so these students will soon become teachers and they need better tools. So basically, they wanted me to introduce Brave and teach them how to use it and what features can be found in it and things like that. But also to be, of course, aware of the things we do on the web and why we should care about privacy and security, which was very interesting to me because, like, 80, I think, yeah, like 80% of them didn't know anything about that, not even what an algorithm was. And it's not that they didn't care about it, but they just like never thought of it that way. So it was the perfect opportunity to talk about it. And well, on the presentation, I talked about all the different features, the differences between them and the rest, like Brave Ads, Brave Rewards, and just like everybody else, as soon as I mentioned the advertising system, they got very interested and starting asking questions about it. And well, they were actually very interested and engaged during the entire presentation. They kept interrupting because they had so many questions, which is a good thing, of course. And I was actually very happy to see that they were curious and had the need to ask so they could learn more about it. So I was happy to answer because that's what it's all about. Thank you. Um, but well, they asked about everything, so I couldn't say what were the most frequently asked questions, but they asked a lot about security and privacy. No, actually, they had a lot of questions about Brave playlist. Now that I remember, that was their favorite feature for sure. And also, well, it's very common in Latin America to watch movies on free websites, especially one it's called Cuevana, because we can't always find movies on platforms because it's very restricted depending on the region or, well, country. But also some people just want things for free, which is understandable. And also not everybody knows, especially I think here, what a VPN is or how to use it. But what happens with these websites is that they are extremely risky, and every time you touch the screen, a window opens asking for, let's say, your number, your personal information, or even adult content, which is horrible and so dangerous because a lot of kids watch movies on those websites, and most of the time, the parents don't even know. But it's also very annoying to keep closing the windows. So Brave blocks all those websites, and with that, you're able to watch the movies in peace. And it was very interesting to me because um, all the all the students got excited about that because watching movies on those websites is very popular here in Costa Rica, and also I watch sometimes movies on those websites, and I can tell the difference. And so they got very excited about that. But anyways, after their questions, I did like a small activity, like a 15-minute activity with them. I asked some questions about the presentation and, well, Brave and the features, and they won some T-shirts and pens. And yeah, that was it. I think that was it, and we enjoyed it a lot. Thank you. Next slide. Thank you. And well, here you can see the photos we took with the students. We also made a post from the Back Costa Rica account on X. So if you want to go and check that out, please do. And yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. That was amazing. Okay, Godson, it's all you.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, everybody. It's your second favorite African ambassador here. I have some updates for you from the continent. So last week, obviously, we we partner with the people who put up all these events throughout the continent. So like the Bitcoin Pizza Day event was like the one they did last week, and we set an ambassador to the event in Nigeria and the one in Kenya as well. And both of them got to speak, and then all that good stuff. So last week, yes, sir. Last week we sent Stan to the Gamers Development Center in Nairobi, Kenya, where he was a panelist, and he got to talk about Brave and some of our products. That's the picture of him right there trying to get some girl's number. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. And then, of course, the video next to it is the event. It was well attended. He also generated some leads for us as well for some Brave ad stuff on the ground. If we convert a couple of them, I will also bring it. I'll mention them as well. But for now, that's just a big shout out to Stan. Next slide, please. Yes. So in Nigeria was Alfred. He went to the Sync Hub in Abuja, the capital of Nigeria, where he also did a meetup and also spoke. He was also a panelist up on stage. You could see him speaking on the far left with the Brave banner and his QR code behind him. Again, a pretty well attended meetup. You can see from the video, and also had the same little QR code and Brave logo setup that Stan had as well. He also generated some leads for us, so we'll see how that goes. And if anything comes of these leads, I'll bring it up and we'll celebrate. Third slide, please.
I just want to say before I switch slides that I love the Brave bucket hat with the Brave crew neck.
Yeah.
What a look. I love that so much.
Okay, so if you can go back, you'll see that Stan is also wearing a nice little Brave tee. I didn't know we had it was like a nice, cool little like a white Brave tee with like a different logo on it. That giant thing on his chest, you can't really see it because the screen is small, but that thing says Brave on it, and it's like the Bat Brigade, like an older version, I think.
Oh,
but it's like
remember that.
Yeah, it's a nice little get up with his jeans and stuff. They always look nice when they go to these things. So shout out to
they
them.
always look fresh. It's interesting because we've been having some ambassadors in different parts of the world print merch for their events locally because it's more cost effective. So they get to be a little bit more creative with their designs, and that's when you get cool ones like this white T-shirt with the Brave badge on the chest. We don't have that one in the merch store, so it's very cool. Yeah.
Yes. Next slide, and then the one after that, please. Thank you. Yeah. So. Also, an update on the university tour. Also, last week, he was actually just invited. We didn't even set this one up. Someone saw him from the meetup, and then invited him to and I'm not sure how you say this, but the Dedan Kimathi University of Technology in Kenya, where he also went and spoke to the students about Brave and our products and all that good stuff. He said that apparently like 80% of the students already know about Brave. They may not be using it, but they knew about it. They understood what it did and everything. They understand about BAT as well, and he even met someone who he recommended to become our new ambassador for us. The guy apparently has been holding BAT for like a while on his OKCoin account and this kind of stuff. And he was like a BAT maniac. Sorry, a Brave maniac, I guess, a Brave and BAT maniac. So he recommended that we bring him on as a new ambassador, which is something that Alfred also did as well. He also met some people out there that he recommended. So, we're going to be growing. Hopefully, the plan to get to 50 African ambassadors and attachés by the end of the year might actually happen. So yeah, that's it for the African ambassadors update. Let's talk some stats real quick. Yeah, so last week, like Jenny mentioned, we had a space with Unfungible. We had about 265 listeners, and then our combined stream views from both accounts for last week's community call was about 1,500 views. A slight dip from the week before, which was about 3,500 or so. I think we're kind of maybe exhausting the excitement and the novelty of the streams a little bit. So we're gonna have to plan some promotion or something just to keep the numbers up and going. So yeah, shout out to Belladonna again for helping me with these streams, and Jenny for tweeting him out as well. Thank you.
That's great, man. I love it. It's good to see the team just like getting out there in Africa, those look like good events too. It's just awesome. It's awesome. I feel like Paola and Godson's team, that everybody we're showing up all over the world. It's great.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, I guess it's my turn. So yeah, going along. Also did a pizza day meetup at the local Houston area. Had an event, so I went to that. Ended up being able to share about Brave and Bat for a few minutes, and met a lot of awesome people locally, and a lot of people that were interested in Brave and Bat, and or were users and love Brave, those kind of things, which always happens when you tell people that you work with Brave or talk about Brave and those kind of things. So definitely, I would recommend for anybody that's in an area, find events like this, local things where you can go and share, because people are usually want to hear about and I didn't know I was going to present, to be honest, and they're like, hey, if you want to present, you can. Kind of last minute told me. I was like, okay, sure. So I went up there and did it, and but people are always kind of looking for quality projects and things that are going on in the space, and Brave and Bat is obviously one of those. And it's a good way to kind of get to meet people that are near you that are also into crypto and Web3 and a lot of times privacy and those kind of things that also, oh, sorry about that. I was getting a call. Let me turn on the Do Not Disturb. So that was good. Actually, I met a lot of good people, and some of those I'll meet up again with in Austin this week at Consensus. Because a lot of people that were there will also be going over there. So, and then just kind of following on what Jenny said, we had our new space format and things like that, and it went well. I think it was all about Bat, so it's good. And I'm interested to see how the other ones go going forward with the kind of panel platform and other projects as well. Bowles, I see, has his hand up. He may want to talk about the Pizza Day thing, because I know he did, or went to his local one there as well. Go for it, man, if you want.
Yeah, man, that's exactly what I wanted to add. I just thought I'd add that one, I went to an event. I didn't organize it, but I ended up kind of indirectly helping get the word out. Getting a bunch of local people to show up, but they're fun events, and there's a good chance most of the people on this call probably live recently close to actually an event. So next year around this time, maybe keep your eye out for them or look for them online. Because it's free food, free drinks, sometimes some free swag. So they're pretty fun. I also thought I'd mention that it wasn't just me. I had some other Brave and Bad affiliated people end up coming to mind, which is pretty cool. But we also ended up having some people, on other continents, going to some of these events, having fun, representing Brave and Bat as well, including in Tokyo, Japan with Atsushi-san. And I want to say Batter and also attended one in Lisbon, I think, but don't quote me on that one.
Yeah,
So,
but I agree. Like it's a good event that they have a lot of. I think there was 3 or 4, maybe 500 different locations that they have these at. So if you're any kind of larger metropolitan area, there's probably one near you. So it's and like Bao said, hey, he wasn't the one organizing it, so it's kind of nice and easy. Somebody else is doing most of that stuff. You don't have to organize it, but you can kind of go in and get your foot in the door. So and in real life, meetups are awesome because it's a different level of connecting with people and stuff like that. So yeah, appreciate it, Bao. And then actually speaking of vows, I'll see vows at Consensus this week. So looking forward to that. Got a lot planned. Brave has, like Jay said, they have an event with some partners, and then Karate Combat going on, and a lot of other events with a lot of other people. So looking forward to meeting a lot of new people and projects and people to work with, which should be fun. And Consensus is usually pretty good because it's a big crypto conference. So definitely looking forward to that and reporting back on that as well. Also, along those lines, anybody else that's there, we're looking at maybe meeting up for lunch one day and getting some barbecue. So Thursday. Yeah. So if you're around, let us know. We're gonna sort that out and try to get the word out and get anybody from the team that can make it, and anybody from the community is welcome to. So hope to see you there.
Just to echo too what Drew and Bowser were saying. I mean, there's you don't have to wait for Bitcoin Pizza Day either. I think there's something to getting involved in your area, and a lot of times all you have to do is just a little bit of digging to see if there's anything. If it's not in your town, maybe it's in your county, maybe it's near a university that's nearby, maybe it's somewhere. But what I've noticed, and I've done this, I mean, there's tweets from, gosh, I don't know, 2018, where I was just doing little presentations at a local blockchain club in the suburbs, right? But the funny thing is that people don't realize how close to home a lot of tech companies actually are now. And a lot of this networking happens in real life, even around Consensus. I'm not going in the conference. I'm here for 3 days. Everything interesting is going to be happening outside the conference, right? So so much stuff happens in real life, and it doesn't take a lot. You just go. A lot of times you can just show up at these things, give 5 or 10 minutes about what you're doing, and what you think about Brave and Bat, and then you'll meet people there. Those things carry. There's something about being that person that represents in your town and kind of owning it, that it just naturally grows out into other things. And I love that you guys are doing that. And I think that, it's something where don't wait, just see what's around, and see where it goes. I mean, and sometimes you'll be in a room and there's 3 people there. I've gone to conferences where there's 3 people in the crowd, and that's it. And it took 2 hours to drive there, whatever. But sometimes you're going to miss, but then when it hits, and you never know who's going to be there. And sometimes, everybody's a couple degrees of separation from another interesting opportunity. So I just encourage everybody, we'll support you. If there's anything we can do with merch or whatever to help, and if there's materials we can help with, whatever, or even just getting on the phone. I can get on the phone and talk to you about whatever, to help you prep if you're nervous or whatever. We've got people here that have done this a lot, and whether it's me or somebody else on the team, we're here to help pack you all up, and absolutely love seeing this, dude. I think it's really, really cool, and I think you guys are setting a really good example for the broader community too.
Yeah, thanks, Luke. Amen to all of that, and well done to the Bat community team and to all the ambassadors who have been going out there, getting out there in their local communities and hopping on to existing meetups and events and just showing up and networking and talking about Bat and Brave. But yeah, just to echo everything Luke said, like we have decks you can use. We can send merch. We can train you if you want to give a talk at like a local university or at any local event. Let us know. We're happy to support, happy to help. And if you want to get involved more deeply, of course, join Bat Ambassadors.
And a lot of times too, like if there's not like, if there's no like hub where there's like a lot of these meetups happening, a lot of times what I've done this with, because we've had people on staff that are alumni at colleges where, some of their computer science teachers might have a blockchain course or might, they'll dedicate an hour to like, or even less to just coming in and talking to the class, right? Like, and so it doesn't even have to be a side event. Sometimes you can just be reaching out to like computer science professors or people at the universities and saying, hey, look, like, we'd love to have the opportunity to come and talk to your class about, an interesting use of crypto and blockchain privacy, all this stuff. It doesn't hurt. Like I'm doing one, I've done some in colleges before. I'm doing one with the AI association, like, or the AI association, something like that. It's a brand new org that I just interviewed the guy that's the president of it. And he's basically creating kind of a group it's not lobbying so much as it's like building an open source ethos with like AI and companies and techs and helping people like learn it and stuff. And he wants Brave to be like the technology that they're using and using as an example to compare and things like that. And, you never know, like the guy just hit me up on LinkedIn and Twitter, and, now I'm going to speak at their meeting in a couple of weeks. So, don't be afraid to get scrappy and put yourselves out there, like, and we'll help support you too, like, whatever it takes. So anyway, this is awesome. Thank you all. AI innovation. Thank you, Jenny. I only use LinkedIn because he hit me up and said, I use my LinkedIn stuff for the AI innovation stuff. And so anyway, but yeah, so you never know where these things lead. People know people, and it's a small world. So yeah, I think like, why don't I open it up? It's 2:42. We got some time. We got some time. If people have questions, or if anybody from the Brave team's here and wants to bring up anything that they're working on, or share any info, or talk about what you all are doing at Consensus, please feel free.
Nothing to announce, but happy to take questions if people have some.
Yeah, Kyle's here, and I'm going to meet Kyle after this too. But there's actually quite a big cohort of Brave people that are going to be here this week. It's pretty cool to see, and it feels like I guess this is the first big U.S. conference after the ETFs news was announced last week, and the Bitcoin one too, for that matter. I think it definitely feels like a different energy right now than last year.
Yeah. I was just looking through the agenda actually, and there's just a giant list of like political figures that are involved in like, basically TradFi and stuff like that as well. So it's very interesting to see how the rest of the world has just come to accept that crypto is here to stay. So now they got to figure out how to work with it.
Yeah, I love it. It feels definitely the tide is turning in a good way. Now we just get to watch the politicians like chew on legislation, which is a whole different type of sausage making, but one that's at least it's not damning as bad as other things. But no, it's cool, man. Yeah, how are you? How's stuff going? I'm just kind of curious too, Kyle. Like, we don't really talk about this very much, but I know that you're pretty active on it. Like, how is there much activity going around wallet standards and things like that right now, or how's the work going on that front?
It's been fairly quiet. I know there's a bunch of stuff going on. I just haven't been too engaged with it at this point. Trying to prioritize other projects, especially trying to get the on-chain payouts and stuff has been a big focus for me lately in terms of like making sure that's all secure and working with some of the other people on the team who are helping get that production ready. So put down that part of standards work for the most part, but I know that like there's a bunch of stuff happening right now around account abstraction, and then also more on-chain solidified approaches to it. So that I've seen like a EIP recently about being able to upgrade an EOA account, which is like what you have with your Brave wallet right now, being able to upgrade that to a one-time use smart contract account. That was proposed by Vitalik just recently, and it's similar in line with, I think, EIP 3074, where they're basically trying to get the protocol itself to be able to upgrade the accounts rather than having to try and do this all on chain with smart contracts and stuff, because from a complexity perspective, it's pretty complex, and then also the security logic and stuff like that presents some potential risks and concerns in terms of like if there's a smart contract bug, how many people are affected and stuff like that. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been paying attention to, at least on Twitter and stuff.
Are you how are you feeling about I know we did the first set of payouts. Like, do you guys like learn a lot from that first? I know the community asked me about this a lot, like how things are going with it and everything like that. And you know, I'm assuming that we're finding out all sorts of interesting things. Like, how's that experience been going? Like, we don't have to share details necessarily, just like generally, like, are you guys like? I mean, it's one thing to kind of like sketch this out, right? But then to actually like go through the process, do you guys feel like you're learning a lot for the next round, and how's that going?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like just some of the things like timing of events wasn't great either. Like Solana was having some like high congestion for their network and stuff at the same time as when we're trying to submit transactions, and like even just the way that we're processing transactions right now. We started simple and wanted to send each transaction individually. Well, that's a lot of transactions going through at the same time. So making sure that we're doing it in a efficient way and trying to figure out how that all works is some of the stuff that we're working on and learning, and trying to figure out like what's the details that we need internally in order to make sure this all works and can be processed and make it on time. Because that's one of the biggest things for this project. As a part of it is it's building on another project that's been ongoing for us for a while, which is to be able to automate these payments more and to be able to make that a better process so that we can get payments out on time all the time and stuff like that, and don't have delays as often. So yeah,
that's great. Yeah, no, it's cool. Let's see. Anybody have any questions for Kyle or anybody on the call? Feel free to let them rip. Godson.
Yeah, I'm still gonna complain about on-chain payouts and say like I don't necessarily think it's a great way to go ahead, just because it's gonna cost so much money if we have to pay out all 70 million users. But the team should consider something, I don't know, more centralized or something. I understand like there's like legal problems with it, like do we become a money transmitter now because we're paying out back and stuff. But I think of like all the stuff going on with with the African ambassadors and how they keep meeting people, and everyone's like, oh, I know what Brave is, and I love using it, but what's up with that payouts? When's that gonna happen? And I just know like these people are gonna be like at the bottom of the ladder if we do end up doing everything on chain. But I'm just a guy who does tweets. I don't really know much.
No, I think it's a fair point, and also like for what it's worth. I mean, like well, I was speaking with James recently too, and I was like, we were kind of talking about cohorts and whatnot, and one thing I kind of impressed upon him was like, between the different custodial partners we've had and some of the regional restrictions that took place, like folks like in Africa and other parts of the world, like kind of got shut out in a lot of ways, and so like one thing to consider is kind of trying to open up for folks in those regions too, so we can reactivate them. But like I think like I don't know, someone else too who's closer to the process can probably speak better to this than I can. But I think like one of the hopes is that, you know, at least with Solana, we can the cost of transacting on it will be low enough to where like it's almost a non-issue. But yeah, obviously, like you know, the team's got to work through all of this, and then you know, eventually give people a choice of what network they want to do, and maybe they have to absorb the fee on that one if it's an expensive network or something. But no, I think it's a fair point. I just want people to be able to access it that used to be able to that can't anymore. Because like honestly, like losing that support was like really rough, and you know, obviously, like the last thing we want a user to have to experience, right? So I don't know.
Yeah. Thanks.
I can speak a little bit to that as well.
Oh yeah, please do.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, like we're doing individual transactions right now, and I don't know if you guys know the details of like how the Solana network works, but in order to send a transaction, there's what's called a rent fee. So at the current time, the expectation is that we're just going to front this cost because it's looking fairly minimal. But as we scale, like that's one of the things that we have to factor in, and that's part of the reason that we're taking this beta process as well, is to like factor, you know, what are the costs that are coming with it, how can we be able to handle it, and you know what sort of attacks can happen. Since the rent fee ideally is paid by the account owner, what ends up happening with this is that there's, you know, the possibility of you paying out a rent fee and then the rent fee's been removed, and then the person like charges it. So then we have to consider what sort of attacks occur with like basically rent fee extraction and stuff like that. So that's definitely one thing that we're thinking about. But like in terms of scalability, we definitely want to look at transaction batching. I think don't quote me on this, but I think we could get to like thousands of addresses paid out per account transaction, and even so, we could go more automated with like a smart contract payout system where we pay into the smart contract, provide a list, authorize the transactions, and then the smart contract itself pays them all out in a single bundle. So there's a lot of different ways that we can scale, and then it's from there it's trying to figure out which is the most applicable as well in terms of cost for scaling, and then also networks that people want to be able to use. Solana is obviously the network we're using right now, but it's always been in the foresight that we want to be able to support many different networks. So, you know, how do we go about doing that, and how do we approach it? Like obviously paying on, you know, Ethereum with the gas fees and stuff like that on mainnet, it's not really designed for that in the first place. I mean, that's been kind of the meme for years, is you really shouldn't be transacting on mainnet. You should be using L2s. And so then looking at how do we go about doing that with L2s. And then for me, one of the things that I care about most is actually kind of the privacy side of things. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but we've already got some research that's been happening in the background to try and figure out how to do these payments in zero knowledge as well, in order to make this a little bit more of a private scenario. Because right now, effectively anybody can look at who is a Brave Rewards user at this point, just because of the fact that when it's being paid out from our common address, you'll see it on chain, and then you'll see every single address that's paid out on chain as well. And so I've heard that there's some reports of these addresses getting flagged on Reddit and stuff. And you know, we gather consent for this right now, but I look at it as, you know, I don't have to advertise, you know, what my income is from, you know, like my work and stuff like that. So why should I have to advertise my income from, you know, my browsing habits and stuff like that, or, you know, the rewards that I receive? So that's kind of the way that I'm looking at this, is, you know, how do we maximize the privacy even further beyond what we've already done within the reward system?
I think it's smart. Like it makes a lot of sense, and I think too, like these things are not like, the world doesn't work on zero sum games, right? Like, and we're gonna find. I mean, you know, it's one of the interesting things about working at Brave too, is that you know, in a way, at least on the business side, and like Carlos and I deal with this a lot, where you've got a mix of different types of networks. You've got some that just have a natural like kind of network effect building up or finding a fit for one reason or another. Like for example, like Binance or now it's BNB chain, right? Like plugs into Binance and it becomes a really natural kind of onboarding flow for one of the biggest exchanges. And now you've got Base, where Coinbase is doing a similar thing with L2 and the Base network. And so there will be a good cohort of users from those side. And then at the same time, everybody and their brother starting an L2 or there's an Alt L1, and on paper there's all sorts of theory like around what these things can actually do. But then like we also have to look at it as like, look, like it's not just about even reward settlements. It's about like, are these networks that people want to, where are you at in the stage of your network, right? Like, are there other things in an ecosystem that people want to use? Is there demand for it, right? Like, and so there's all these different like problems and things to chew on around like how things get implemented that I think people don't really have to think about it in the same way that we have to look at it, because we have to deal with things on the practical side too here. But it's pretty interesting. And I think like, at least starting with the ones where there is the most traction makes a lot of sense. And I think, I'm glad that we're doing that too. But the privacy element, I think, is key over time. So just to be specific, Kyle, are you talking about the Boomerang protocol work that that the research team run?
Yep. Yeah, exactly that.
Awesome. That's great. Cool. I think C-Ray, you have a hand up.
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of try to keep it quick. I did want to ask, have we lost a lot of our wallet team? I used to have Josh Leonard, who would pop in, Oni B, who is, Oni B, I guess, Ana Rudha Bos or whatever, and a few others that would pop in and help people that was having issues on wallet. Oh, Douglas Daniel is the other. But we actually have Douglas Daniel hasn't been around since 2022. Josh Leonard hasn't been on since March. Oni B's not been on since 2023. And we've got plenty of people that's having issues on wallet and seeking help. Evan a lot of times starts guiding people and then he loses track of them. And so a lot of people that's not getting assistance, and just trying to find out if wallet team is no longer paying any attention or kind of what's going on, or are they even at Brave anymore?
They're still at Brave. I mean, I can take a shot at it. And I don't know, Kyle, if you have any thoughts too, but yeah, I mean, I think like right now, a bunch of the team has been kind of focusing on, if you look at what's been integrated, like there's Bitcoin support that's been added. The whole on-chain settlements piece has been added, and Zcash all these things are moving right now, like at the same time. And I think, honestly, a lot of it, all those people still work, at least at kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're all still here. I think that they're all spinning plates. Like there's a lot going on. And I think we could probably do is like pass a note to the team too about, to check in on some of these things. But I have a feeling a lot of it is around, just only so many, like they're just doing a lot right now.
Right, which, as you're saying, like one of them is saying they can't send Bitcoin from their wallet. The other ones are saying like Zcash is not loading. There's been multiple people saying that it shows in Explorer, but not in Brave Wallet. Lots of things where their tokens are supposedly there, but it won't show. And it's kind of been going on for months now.
In that case, I ran into this when I was testing it. I don't know if we ever figured out what the bug was. Let me get the actual URL for this. It's, I think, Bitcoin-dev. There's an internal panel that you can use to be able to assist with this. It's not up right now. We may have turned it off, so we may have to turn that back on or something like that. But I think overall, to the broader question of like, what are we doing in terms of support? All those people are there. I do think, there's probably something that we could be doing to be able to improve this more. I know one of the things that we're working on with this is a further communication channel. So there's been a request to be able to use a tool to be able to connect it in so that feedback is coming into our team in order to be able to have awareness of the problems that people are actually facing. And I believe the integration will be on Twitter as well, so that we can be able to see it in that way. Are you seeing these problems on Discord? Because if so, that means we should probably hook into Discord as well, so that we have kind of a refined process. Because as you point out, Evan's having to deal with a lot of these as well, and he's kind of the frontline support for a lot of these things. And if he's losing track of them, it's oftentimes just because so many of these things are coming in at the same time, and they're not making it into the tickets for him to be able to track it. And so that's part of what this tooling is supposed to help out with as well as him being able to send it off to people like Ani and Josh and Doug and myself, and so that we can take a look and provide answers, and you can help support on that front. So is this question specifically around things that you're facing on Discord?
No, I hardly ever use Discord. It's pretty much going to be everything on Brave Community. And
Gotcha.
I know as far as on that, quite frankly, what we have is Evan is handling all things regarding rewards and all things wallet. That's all strictly on Evan. Then Matt is dealing with everything as far as browser issues and compatibility and stuff. And those are pretty much the only two people that we have handling all the hundreds or thousands of tickets and posts each week. So I know it's tough, and they are trying to balance the juggling act, and that's why I was asking about help. Like, where did everybody else disappear to?
Yeah, and I can add to that in terms of what's going on. They are just juggling a lot of plates. I think I have about 8 different reviews that I'm looking at the moment, and in terms of the team as a whole, I think they've got about 15 different projects and features that are being worked on at this point in time. And things are just constantly being juggled around and stuff like that. Like transaction simulation is still being worked on, even though we have the majority of it implemented in terms of UI and stuff. But we're trying to fix up things before we release it out so that it's in a good state in order to actually put it out and make it useful and stuff like that. And so then there's the constant feedback loop of what's happening between the team. Things need to get implemented on, the Brave core side, and then it needs to get done on the UI side, and then it needs to be reviewed. And if there's problems that are encountered along the way, we have to talk with our partner, Blowfish, in order to get assistance on that. And so sometimes these things take time, and especially when we're all trying to juggle a lot of plates. Certainly I hear your feedback in terms of we could do a better job of being able to assist on the community side of things. And I think that's something that Luke and I can actually have a chat about when we're talking in person.
Yeah, right after this meeting, or this not meeting.
Awesome,
but
thank you.
Yeah. No, and C-Ray, I appreciate you surfacing it too, for sure. It's helpful, and that you're spending time in there and trying to do everything you can with what you've got to do it. So appreciate that. We're about 3 minutes over, so we're going to call it a day on this call, but we'll be back 1 week from today, same bat time and same bat channel and different location, but we'll see you then. Until then, have a great week, and we'll see you online. Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Luke. Goodbye.
Thank you. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, you guys.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
Recording has stopped.